You're very welcome to the Irish Political Roundup with me, Roisin Cleric.
And me, Paul Brophy.
And me, Paidi, man.
And we are here at the Carlow KIlkenny Count Centre for the Irish presidential election count. And gentlemen, it's been a landslide for Deputy Catherine Connolly, the independent candidate, who's really the opposition candidate. And the big news is, I would say the main story of this presidential election is the spoiled votes. Paidi, what's your thoughts on it all?
Obviously, there's a certain amount of people disenfranchised, didn't like any of the candidates on offer, and they made that clear. I would say that the story of the day is the landslide, and that the spoiled votes is a close second, because Catherine Connolly ran away with it, and has been running away with it for weeks. To be honest, it's been a done deal, I think, since the first debate. As someone from a Fine Gael background, I thought Catherine Connolly was the clear winner in all the debates, and by far the most presidential of the three, which then became two candidates over the last few weeks. Actually, the Jim Cavan story was also a little bit of a blip in the
Register?
Yeah. Flying the ointment. That's the term I was looking for. Sorry, I haven't had coffee yet.
So we actually have some tally figures here now. There's about 60%. So we have Catherine Connolly on 61.9%, Jim Gavin on 7.6%, Heather Humphreys on 30.5%, and spoiled votes on 12.6%. So the spoiled votes are well ahead of Jim Gavin, who's still, even though he dropped out of the race, he's still on the ballot and still a valid candidate, and any votes and transfers will be included. But it looks like Catherine Connolly is going to romp away with it, and there's going to be a lot of questions to be asked, particularly within Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael after this election.
Well, apologies if you see me shaking there. I was standing on my tiptoes because I'm so petite, so it didn't look so bad. But I'm just going to sit down. So the landslide, and we've been talking to an awful lot of tallies, and all a lot of people who are doing the tallies for political parties or people there have saying the main story for them is the spoil the vote campaign, and the amount of people that went out and spoiled their votes. It's a big referendum for the government.
Now, I would put a severe health warning on this tally, and it's nobody's fault, but there's not enough tally people to cover every box. I've seen half boxes tallied, so they're not going to be exact figures, exact numbers. But
really,
Catherine Connolly is running away with it, and the spoiled vote is massive.
And I've seen from some of the commentary online in constituencies in Dublin, the spoiled vote is actually ahead of Heather Humphreys in a lot of places. So it did have an impact. And if 12.6% of the vote is spoiled, that's a big message that the people of Ireland are saying that they are really, fed up with the political system, and the political system has to react.
Do you think the people have just said we haven't been listened to, and so we're spoiling our vote?
Yeah.
And it's also it's a big statement from the people of Ireland.
It's a statement. I don't think it's a statement that would be listened to. I'm going to say that party leaders don't care about spoiled votes. There's a lot of messages written on the spoiled votes. Maria Steen's name was written. I was chatting to a counting staff here who was actually a poll clerk in one of the voting stations yesterday, and she could tell who was spoiling their vote based on the length of time they were in there. And when it was quiet, you could hear the paragraphs being written on the ballot papers. Like I said, I don't think political parties will listen to spoiled votes.
Well, the international media will definitely be listening to the spoiled votes. I think it's more of an international story as well as a national story and locally. Well, that's it. We'll be also doing a few more interviews here at the Carlow KIlkenny event, and then we're heading up to Dublin Castle, where we have major accreditation for Dublin Castle.
Hopefully the Dublin Castle Count Centre will have a bit more life in it, because this one, like the campaign, has been dead. And
it's open to the public, and it's empty.
Oh yeah, there's nobody crying in corners. There's nobody being hoisted up. It's just, there's no blood sport at all here. It's done deal.
And there's no county councillors. There's very few politicians here. Deputy Catherine Callahan's here.
Former councillor Paul Cudahy's here.
Is he? And just there now, the deputy
Kathleen Function Day. MEP is here.
and John McGuinness, Deputy John McGuinness walked in the door. So but they've just came in at this time, but all morning there's very few county councillors here.
No political rural pursuits.
No. So until next time, until our next video, thank you so much for taking the time to watch and to listen to the Irish Political Roundup from Paul Brophy, Paudie Manning and myself here from the Carlow Kilkenny Count Centre.
Goodbye for now.